Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. First of all, many thanks for all the comments and for watching. Like our YouTube journey has been, I suppose, like a lot of people's, fits and bursts really, and then trying loads of different stuff, and realizing that keeping it simple, like you're in the room with me, might have been the best idea all along. But I think the machine we're talking about at the moment probably has quite a lot to do with it as well. So without further ado, what we'll do in this video is talk about how I'm using the Boss GX-10 live. And this is completely different. If you think I'm just hammering the Boss GX-10 for content, you're partially right. But that's, really, again, going back to sort of the journey on YouTube, to find something that you're genuinely passionate about, talking about, I hope you can see that, it is a rare thing, really, particularly when we've struggled in the past, definitely, to find things that like we're mega excited to talk about and to share with you. Now I've got that, and the truth is that there is so much to talk about, and the live approach, I've already discussed it in the comments with a couple of you, is completely different to how I was using it in the sound test video. So really, the way to look at this, if you'll excuse me a sec, the way to look at this is that the process I use to arrive at the sounds for all of this stuff was the process that you saw in the last video. Of course, with the added factor of I'm not just trying to make my pedal board, I'm trying to make specific sounds that I would have previously used my pedal board to do with this unit. Specific enough sounds that, I'm talking about bars 8 to 16 in a song, change sound. Bars 16 to 24 in a song, change sound. Because the project that I'm doing this for is, me on lead guitar as a sideman to an artist, which is a role that I've always loved. That suits me down to the ground, and it's a great band. The artist, I think I've mentioned on the channel before, Bryony Williams, fantastic artist who you should check out. She has an album coming out within a few weeks of this video, which I produced with Bryony, and a lot of these sounds are as close as we could get it to the record. So I suppose let's look at this another way, right? Today's video is me trying to get sounds specific to ones we made like a year ago, and to listen to the record and to translate, not pedal tone, not like, okay, how can we make the crowd the hotcake, but how can we translate sounds off a record, which anyone using this, that is useful. Even if you're just playing at home and you're like, I would like to get the guitar sound off of I Feel Fine by the Beatles. That process of listening, dialing in, that's what, many people, that's going to be the use case. So what we'll do first of all is we'll very quickly talk about, have I missed anything there? I think that's it. You're going to see how I've arranged the set list. I'm not going to show you the set list because why don't you just buy a ticket to the show if you're in the UK? Or even if you're not, obviously you can fly, can't you? Get a flight. The the rig that we're doing is different. This is the live rig, and I don't know if you can see that one, but basically I've got a pair of super cool guitars, man. I love these guitars. They are so solid for, I think at the time I paid 250 quid tops each. So it was like £500 all in for two guitars. And they were set up by an incredible man, Jamie Davey, in Wolverhampton. So they're not like, they were not great out of the box, but he has made them feel expensive. Right, and it's the 66 copy reissue. I think they're like 2013, 2014, and there's two of them. And the reason, obviously, there's two of them is because I bought them to gig with. You know, where you need a spare. I like to do shows. The shows I'm playing, I'm not playing for 3 hours. So, you know, if I can just use one guitar, then, you know, that I should be just using one guitar for the shows that I do. But I thought, for the first time, well, it wasn't the first time, but I thought I would just get literally a dupe. And also, it's a good excuse to, like, to buy the one with this on, which I've recently shimmed with a 10 cents euro coin for a bit of extra height there. You'll see that. We'll come on to that. I will play them both in the video. Let's get into what I've done with the Boss. So, this point, let's have a look at the screen. There's a couple of things to say about this, right? The first thing is that I am yet to open up the Boss software. There's two reasons for that. The first one is that, you know, if I can help it, I'd rather not use a computer. But the second one is that the software won't run on either of my computers. Boss, if you're watching this, I mean, I'm not looking for, you know, my iMac in here, if you can believe it, ladies and gentlemen, runs on 10.6.8. It's frozen in time in 2012. Don't we all wish we were frozen in time in that year? So it's not going to work on that, obviously. But I've got a new-ish laptop, and it doesn't work on that either. Maybe there's some legacy drivers that I've missed. Anyway, the reason I mention that is I haven't set up set lists. I've also missed, I think, like, I've done a real kind of noob error with this, in the sense that I've not ordered songs to banks, right? Which I think if I do this again, like for any kind of live work, I'll probably do that. But enough about that anyway. If I scroll, the show starts here, right? So you can see that. And that sound sounds like this. Sorry about this, Peanut. Turn that up a little bit. So the distortions, which that's as heavy as it gets really in this show, and start with a bang, as they say. The distortions, my approach to distortions with this is like, you know, I don't want it to be too subtle, so I went like clean sound. I've got a clean sound. I've got an overdrive, which I can also make a clean sound if I play lightly and play heavily, and it's an overdrive. And then I've just got one where you, like, I always had one button on the pedalboard where you play it and it takes your face off. And that was the fuzz. Now, I had a look in here, right? And I tried the fuzz, dear reader, and you know, it was not as bad as I was led to believe. Like, oh, the fuzzies and the dirts are, you know, useless on these things. Disagree. The fuzzies, I was like, you know, maybe not for me. This Rat clone, Distortion Rat, I found that and I never looked back. I think, like, I mean, I've always wanted to own a Rat, so maybe there's a little bit of a psychological bias there. But it does what I want, which is like kind of that swampy... this is just coming... All this audio is coming through the camera mic, in case you can't tell. It does that like swampy kind of soupy like compressing thing. You know, I'm not looking for like precision with this distortion sound. Actually, you know, you can see on here, right? There's not... I've backed the drive right off. You got 25 drive, level 70. So I think this is quite, for me, right, this Rat setting is quite a significant setting in terms of this gig. This is as heavy as it gets for me, right? So here we go. We've got Rat 25, tone 0, level 70. I think that's like quite a cool thing to back off drive, increase level. And then, oh, that's it. That's literally it. This is also dialed in with my amp, right? So, and apologies again for the audio, but I want to show you this, right? If I... So that is quite useful. And obviously I've got this at bedroom volume, so you can imagine what that does on a stage with the amp sort of 2 to 3 times as loud as that. So that is as heavy as it gets on this. Most of what I'm doing on this gig, it is definitely not that, right? Now, just turn that off a sec. In terms of the banks, or rather the patches, I start the show here. I get to a quiet bit in the song, I go here, and then I go back to there, right? So that's the first song, for example. Then 2 patches, next song on, right? And for this song, and I'm not going to show you them all because I don't want to like let the cat out of the bag as far as like the set list for these shows, which it may change anyway, in which case I could deal with that. 1, 2, 3 patches for that. You'll notice, I mentioned this before, most of the patches here, and I can just scroll, pick a random one, not that one. Most of the patches, that is a tap tempo. This one's cool, it's got some of that, which we'll come on to in a sec. Or it's got one other effect on there. That's how I'm using it. Now, there's a person in the comments who, basically confirmed what I've been thinking for a while with this, which is that one external foot switch to deal with the up and downs makes it infinitely more usable. Do I need it any more usable? We'll find out. Do I need to be able to turn more on and off than I already am? Is that going to like actually begin to defeat the object of this for me, which was all about sort of like minimalism and like organisation? Perhaps. I'm still going to get the foot switch and find out. So the thing that I thought would be cool to do is to just show you, first of all, a couple of we've got the tap today. I'll show you another example of something I'm turning on and off with the okay, so this one, for example. So this whole song, right? There's 2 interesting things about this. First of all, this song is designed around me being on the middle pickup the whole time. I love that. Like you could do this on a pedal board, but imagine what you'd need, right? So I'm on this, which means that if I want more clarity, I'm probably going to have to lose some low end or like fiddle around with the volumes or whatever. It's literally just an extra plug-in. It's an EQ. To me, that's great. So that is something that I'm loving with this, is that I can design patches specific to the switch that I'm on. That's great. That's one of these patches, right? I'm on the middle thing for the whole song of this. So I'll show you. This is where it starts. And I put that on there. What I'm saying is I save the patch with the thing on or off, dependent on how it's going to be when I'm jumping around. And that rehearsal gives you that, right? It will tell you how you actually need to save this stuff. So that is the start of this song, and it sounds like this. Super cool. So very kind of... very simple, clean sound with quite an interesting thing. I'm sure what you're thinking when I said with, you're thinking chorus. Can you see a chorus on there? You cannot see a chorus on there. I'm going to do a whole other video on that. This is, I think, the way that Johnny Marr does chorus. I'm going to do a whole, or maybe a short, on that setting. So this is like what I think is a super cool chorus sound. Subtle, right? Modern. But sort of unmistakably chorus, right? And all of that is on the middle switch, designed for the middle switch. For the chorus, like all good choruses, it gets a bit noisier. And here, all that happens is overdrive on, watch the little PS, one voice, off, and vibrato on. The vibrato on this, I think, is beautiful. Ready for it? Here we go. And I was like, that sounds dreadful. I'm on the wrong pickup. Ready for it? Woo! So that is built for arpeggiated chords with like a little more grunt to it. So it's still, and I obviously I tried it with the chorus, but the vibrato to me with the overdrive is just a lot more dramatic, you know. And there's a bunch of other stuff on there. So that is an example of a patch where basically I'm on one thing. Now, here is the use case of another foot switch. It would be useful, right? In one of the verses in this song. So we're talking 8 bars in the song. I need to do this. Which is like, well, it's cool sounding. It's a sort of a... It's a swell that I sort of, what would you say, tremolo? So it never actually kind of gets up to the top of the swell. And that's for 8 bars, right? So that is in another bank, you see it. So I go, and then I can go back down to that because I need to get to that straight after that. So I've saved that, I bosh into that for a verse, half a verse, and then my next sound is that, and I've saved it. So even if I turn that off, right, and I go up to here, which is actually what happens, right? So I'm on that chorus sound. And I go to here. And then, bosh. I'm ready for the chorus. Now, if you were doing that with a normal pedal board, all you would be doing in this song is looking at your feet. Like, I mean, quite, you know, even just the change from here to here, that's 2 pedals, right? I've only got 2 feet, and creates certain problems using them both at once. You need to stand as well. So that really use case for having another switch in this situation, totally would be useful, but not essential, as you can see. The show is in order. We don't need to see all of that. Keeps some things behind the curtain, as they say. I just want to show you now a couple of cool sounds that I made for this show. The first one I want to show you is like a lead type sound for this one, and this is designed for a bridge or middle. So I said, right, okay, I might play it on a bridge, or I might play it on the middle. Again, it's got the rat on. 5, and here you can see there I've so you'd say it's like a lightly overdriven clean sound. That'd be like I said, you know, I've got the clean sound, then a little bit more kind of almost indistinguishable from the clean and overdrive depending on how hard I hit it, and then more happening. Now what's cool about this, you know, it's the Rat again. So here, you know, we talked about back in the drive off, here the Rat is literally on 5 and level a little bit more, which should tell you how much I think sort of illustrate to me that actually what I like as much as anything about that Rat distortion emulation is the tone of it and what it does to it, and I guess what it's doing to the overdrive and the rest of it. So So that's like a lead tone, and as I said, I designed it to be cool on either there or there. So in other words, like I think that's like if you want to take faces off a little more, as mentioned, that, you know, the bridge pickup gives me that. But if it's like not, sorry Pina, if that's not what you're after, just move into that. Really kind of rounds it out and cleans it up, and still kind of breaks up nicely when you hit into it. It just gives me an option. I'm into that, and it's an option that again would have been probably much harder to do on a non-digital, non-programmable pedal board. Cool. I think at this point we'll change guitar. Before we move on to the next sound. So as I say, this is a duplicate. The one with the tremor tone here is actually is the backup. The reason for that is that when I used to use this regularly, is the E string would pop off the bridge here because it's like a little. It looks like one of those mastery bridges. It's definitely not that. But it stopped doing it. It's almost like they learn what you hate about them and stop doing it. So the next thing to say, obviously we've got the tremor tone, which is cool. Shimmed it with the 10 cents euro. I think I've mentioned that already. And the next sound that I want to show you is completely different again, and it is totally specific to this song, and also quite different to the rest of the show, and was something that I developed on the Line 6 Echo Park. So I when I first got this, I was like, oh well, there's, you know, I'm never going to be able to do that particular effect. And then I found the SG, which is the Boss slow gear, which is brilliant. Before I tell you what the effect is that I'm going for, why don't you tell me what you think it is in the comments below. In other words, what's the guitar-like instrument? Too many clues. You'll get it immediately. The Line 6 did this sound really well on a swell setting. And well, see what you think. Here we go. So the slow gear I'm using to do a pedal steel type thing, like that sort of Daniel Lanois, slightly country, slightly kind of ambient. thing, which with the tremor tone, you know, that, I mean, that's just, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like a... And I basically just got the slow. I've no, like, it was a total accident finding it. I was just looking through the settings and I found that, and I was like, wow, there you go. There it is. So I use it so I can pick out. It rises quick enough that I can hear individual notes, and I can do stuff like that. But also I can play chords with it. Beautiful. Please give the video a like if you're enjoying it so far. If you're not, subscribe. Loads more coming. The next thing on this setting is, appropriately enough, kind of like a slap delay. So that, like, I mean, to me, those two sounds live together. That isn't the part to the song, by the way. So that's really cool. And for this song, you see there's a tap there. For this song, I just switch between those two. Bosh. Really cool. So the Boss slow gear, I think the lesson there is, like, if you need anything like that, or if, you know, I guess it could be useful if you're doing that sort of like, you know, if you fed that into a massive reverb or like a really kind of nice delay, you're going to get some cool effects there. So I think if you haven't tried that one, it's one to try, the Boss slow gear. When you are building your patches like this, I think there's one more that I'll show you, but I think there's like a couple of general things to say at this point. When you're building patches for the same songs, if you want the sounds to continue between them, and I still haven't cracked this, even though I know what it is and what you've got to do and what it should do, it still doesn't work. It doesn't seem to work every time for me. So please, 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 if you know more about the dreaded carryover, and there's an amazing guy who's done one on the GX-10 who talked about it in detail. I did what he did, and then it was like sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So maybe I missed something. Carryover is when I'm trying to find a song that has it. So I've found a song where this comes up, right? So if we listen to this sound, quite a long space echo delay at the end of the chain, because it, you know, the part I'm doing is like, that's not the part. You have to come to the show for the part. But that is the idea. It's like, it's an arpeggiated part. And what's cool, so if I go, I've changed patches and the delay carries over. Hello, Peanut. To the next patch. Now, I think. Hello. Okay, we're back. I had to let the dogs out, as you saw. So we were talking about carryover. So I think, hang on, it's just literally dawned on me, I think, how the carryover thing works in this situation and not in others. Yeah, okay. This is real time. So the carryover, basically, let me show you how to do that, and then I'll tell you how the thing that I think I've been missing. So the carryover is in the space echo, and then Bosch, knob view, all the way to the end of the patch, carryover on. There, look, number 3 on. Cool. And basically, I'm doing a delay on this sound, and it's carrying on as I turn to the next one, which is obviously beautiful. And the more extreme you delay and you reverb, the more dramatic that will be. And the thing that just occurred to me, and again, please, Boss UK, or indeed anyone who knows more than I do, if this carryover thing only works in banks, which I think it is what it is, which is, you remember I said, so sometimes it seems to work and other times it doesn't. That's because I've made a pig's ear of the arrangement of my patches. If I had every song in its own bank, presumably that means that my carryover, because I always set it on because I want that, my carryover would work every time, like it does so beautifully here. Check it out. Amazing. So, well, we've all learnt something there, haven't we? That's carryover, and I think that was the main point of me showing you that patch. Was to just discuss that. You'll forgive the slight brain freeze. That's what dogs do to you sometimes. I thought I would show you one more patch, and as we were putting the dogs outside, as you do, I was reading the comments from the video we just put out, and the next thing I was going to show you was just a lot of people say, oh, I don't need an expression pedal, and I thumbs up expression pedals. I love a built-in expression pedal. I was going to show you how I've been using 2 ways that I've been using the expression pedal. So I find a patch that has it, right? And this comment came in as we were letting the dogs out from Kaitsu9608. Hope I haven't butchered your name, man. So many thanks for this. It's actually wild how flexible this unit is. If you use the Tone Studio Editor, which I mentioned I haven't, someone made a patch that turned the wah pedal into freeze delay using Terra Echo and Shimmer Verb in a div mix block. Really clever stuff. It's called Freeze Org, or Org Freeze there, if you want to check it out. I certainly will, if I can get the darn program to work on my aging computers. I've got something similar to that, and so I just thought, like, the first one I was going to show you, which is like a kind of quite an obvious use of an expression pedal, right, is, you know, a pitch shift. So that is how I've been, you know, I've been basically this. That's one use case for me. So a 2-octave pitch shift that I kind of use. Super simple. And again, I'm using that. I'm not like doing some like Tom Morello thing there at all. It's just at one point in the song. It's the kind of thing that if you didn't have it, you go, oh, that's just something that happens on the record and we're going to not worry about that. But like, I can actually do that now. That's great. So it's like one moment in one song that's there. And that's where this stuff comes in, is because there's no way I would have bought like what's the pedal? I'm blanking on the pedal. Red pedal pitch. A whammy. Yeah, a whammy pedal. Don't know how that wasn't there. I would never have bought a whammy for this purpose. But there it is. So that's cool. And then, in lieu of this great comment that just came in, the other way that I'm using this is to like start and sort of outro a song, or like moments in the set. So you know, it's like cool to sometimes, if you've got like sounds between songs, so sometimes you don't just want like bang, song end, silence. You actually want, you know, something between the songs. Really cool. And the way I'm doing that as like an intro, right? So here we go. Let's go. And that'll just be rolling on. And then other way. Yeah, other way. Like it just cuts off. Yeah, here we go. So watch. We go. Oh no, it's the other way on this one. No, it's not, it's here. And in that case, the carryover is not on, because I presume that would work, that would just carry on forevermore for the whole of that song. The carryover is not on. I guess I could. I'm not going to do that now. I'll do that at my own time and report back. The changing of the preset stops that dead. And the way I'm doing that, the effect I'm using there is, let's see, it is a delay. It is the delay warp. So it's not those two that you mentioned, but it basically is the same thing, right? And what you've got in the delay warp, and I think all the other ones that you mentioned, right, is the trigger. There. Now, the trigger you can see I've got on with the expression pedal up. Now, I think I can also turn the pedal on or off there. So it gives me a couple of ways to approach it. I can either like do that if I want the sound, but not the crazy trail. And if that is down, which I've set it like that, so that I can just then bank down to the next song and the volume is there. So I'll show you the effect of that once more. Right, so here we go. Turn that on and we go. So the trigger's down, that delay warp is on. As long as you want. Super cool. I've not used it for a while yet because I've never owned a wah and I'm no good at that really. It's just not something that comes up a lot for me. But the freeze thing is brilliant. Like I'd imagine in the studio there's going to be loads of stuff we can do with that. And the pitch shift already has been... It's one of those things that when you hear that live, it's just, oh, okay. It shows that you've like thought about the details in a set or in a show, perhaps more than the average. So I think that about does it for today. I think I'm gonna take you along to some situations where I'm using this in the wild. So if you want to see that, I'm obviously going to carry on doing this stuff because I'm loving this. But the thing that I thought would be cool to see is like, how is this a rehearsal? What is this like actually at a show? So I think I'm going to actually make some little vlogs of me, using it in those situations and just, obviously those situations in general, because that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy watching. I think it's fun. So hopefully that was useful to you. There's quite a lot in there on this one. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I will 100% get back to you. And have a nice week. See you next time.